Hello and welcome. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss using deep research inside of NotebookLM versus using deep research inside of Google Gemini. To do a deep research query inside of Gemini, you will select deep research. What you'll notice is that Gemini will use the web, but you can also add in your Gmail, your Google Drive, and Google Chat if that's going to be relevant to doing the kind of deep research you want to do. You can also upload files if those files are going to be relevant to the deep research that you are doing inside of Gemini. And Gemini will then start the deep research. This process does take time to execute, and we'll pick it up from various points inside of the process. And what you're going to notice here is that deep research is scanning multiple websites at one time to consolidate an answer to give you. You will see multiple steps along the way where different research websites are being used in order to give you the answer based on this agentic process. Gemini Deep Research will then create a report for you. What you can then do is you can export that report by clicking on the Export to Docs, and then that report will then be part of your Google Drive. You will then have a deep research report, and this report is about 16 pages, fully generated, and gives you all of the sources that were used. We are now inside of a new blank NotebookLM notebook. Now we can also use deep research within this notebook. We can click on Try Deep Research. You'll then be able to toggle on deep research. What you'll then be able to do is you'll then be able to place your query inside of the notebook. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the exact same query and we're going to put it inside of NotebookLM for it to do deep research. You'll notice here that we can toggle on the web. We can also toggle on our Google Drive if that is what we are going to do. We're now going to click Enter. And we're going to allow NotebookLM now to use deep research inside of a notebook. You will then notice that you have a completed report inside of NotebookLM based on your query. You can click on the View button. You'll see an expanded panel here. And what NotebookLM will give you are all of the sources for you to use to create new assets in NotebookLM if you choose to import them. So you can evaluate each of the sources to determine if you want to keep them in your notebook. For example, we can look at one specific source. This will take us to the web where we can analyze the actual report. If we think it's worthy to be kept in our research, we can keep it inside of our NotebookLM. And we can do that for all of the sources. We can choose whether to import all of the sources to make the executive summary or not to import them. For the sake of this video, we're going to import the executive summary, the written report. We're also going to import all of the sources used to create the written report. We're going to import them into our NotebookLM. What you will also notice is that the notebook will then take a theme and a title once you have imported the sources into your NotebookLM. The sources that you see in pink cannot be imported. You can go to the ellipsis and you can remove that source, and you can say that you want to remove all failed sources. And so now all the sources that you have here are going to be sources that you can actually use. So deep research creates a permanent asset with all of the sources used to create a source. Research gives you a written report and executive summary, and then gives you all the sources inside of that report. Another way of using NotebookLM would be to create a new notebook. And when you create that new notebook is to go to your Google Drive. What you can then do is you can import the deep research report from Google Gemini. You will then have one source, but you won't have all of the other sources used to create that report in order to use in your notebook. So you'll see in the guide link below that it depends on your purpose as to how you're going to use deep research. If you want to report and save source files, you'll do deep research inside of NotebookLM. If you just want a comprehensive report, which is going to be text, you'll then do that report using deep research inside of Gemini. Deep research in NotebookLM is best for long-term research in projects. Deep research in Gemini is best for immediate, in-depth answers. And again, this visual guide will be linked to you in the description area. Thanks and have a great day.